Lesson 8-4, multiply mixed numbers. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to multiply mixed numbers. Make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil ready so that way you can go ahead and take notes and follow right along with me. To multiply mixed numbers, first rename both factors as fractions greater than or equal to 1. Then simplify using the GCF. Next, you multiply the numerators, then the denominators, and last, rename the product as a whole or mixed number when needed. So let's walk through that together. We have 2 4/5 times 62.5. So our first step is to rename both factors as fractions greater than or equal to 1. So remember, to do that, I'm going to multiply my denominator times the whole number and add the numerator. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So that would be 14 over 5 times, now I need to do the same to this one. So I have 2 times 62 plus 1, which would equal 125 over 2. So now we need to simplify using the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor of 14 and 2 would be 2. So 2 goes into 14 7 times, and it goes into 2 1 time. Then I have 5 and 25. 5 goes into both of those. So 5 goes into 5 1 time, and it goes into 125 25 times. Now all that I'm left with is 7 times 25. So I can rewrite that to look like this. I have 7 times 25 over 1 times 1. And that would equal 175 over 1. And any number over 1 is just itself. So that would equal 175. Let's work through another one together. We have 2/3 times 3 3/8. So that's going to equal, the 2/3 just stays the same, times, I need to change that mixed number into an improper fraction. So 3 times 8 is 24, plus that 3 as the numerator would be 27 over 8. Now let's see if I can cross cancel anything. I have a 3 and a 27. I know that 3 goes into both of those, so I can cross those out. 3 goes into 3 1 time, and it goes into 27 9 times. Then I have the 2 and the 8. 2 goes into both of those. 2 goes in there 1 time and 4. So now I have 9 times 1 and 4 times 1. So that would equal 9 times 1 equals 9, and 4 times 1 equals 4. Okay, now I need to turn that back into a mixed number. 4 goes into 9 2 whole times, and I have 1 left over, and my denominator stays the same. So 2 and 1/4. Let's take a look at one more. 9 times 5 2/3. That equals, I need to turn that 9 into a fraction, so I do 9 over 1 times, now I change my improper fraction, 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17 over 3. Now I see I can reduce this 9 and 3. 3 goes in there 3 times, and it goes in there 1 time. Now I have 3 times 17, which equals 51 over 1, which equals 51. Okay, sometimes you'll be asked to estimate by rounding. So let's take a look at 7 2/3 times 4 1/4. When I look at my 7 2/3, 2/3 is more than half. So I'm going to estimate this 7 2/3 into being 8 times 4 1/4. Well, 1/4 is way less than a half, so I'm just going to estimate that to be 4. So 8 times 4 equals 32. That would just be my estimation for that. 4 5/6 times 32 and 4/7. If we were estimating that, 5/6 I would estimate to be about 1, that's pretty close to 1, times, I would estimate 32 and 4/7 to be 33. Since 4/7 is more than a half, so this would be 33 if I were just to estimate. All right, I want you to write down 2/3 times 2.5 and work that out on your own, and come back and check your work against mine. So I have 2/3, which I would leave the same, times 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 over 2. Then I can cross out these 2's and make them 1's. So I end up with 5/3. Then I need to change that into an improper fraction. 3 goes, or from an improper fraction into a mixed number. 3 goes into 5 one time. I have 2 left. So 1 and 2/3. I hope that's what you were able to get also. Let's try one more. Let's do 8 and 1/6 times 3 and 3/7. Try that and then come back and check against mine. So for this one, I have 6 times 8 is 48 plus 1 is 49 over 6 times 7 times 3 is 21 plus 3 is 24 over 7. I can cross out this 7 and 49 because 7 goes into both of them. 1 time and 7 times. Here 6 and 24, 6 goes into both. So that would be 1. And then this would be 4. Now all I'm left with is 7 times 4, which equals 28 over 1, which equals 28. Okay, go ahead and rewatch any parts of today's video that you need to before moving on to do your math lesson.